Alright guys, so today I'm going to take a little bit of time to talk about Sony's secret new game, and I don't want to say a secret studio because it's not actually a secret. We know this studio, but there are things going on with this studio that are pointing towards the development of a big new AAA game for the PlayStation 5. This is something that has actually been rumored for a little while now, but I haven't actually taken any time to talk about it. I thought now would be a good time to do so because the studio apparently has found a new location and has a new logo, and that is San Diego Studio. It says it's all about to change at MLB The Show developer Sony San Diego, which seems to be the latest team under the PlayStation first-party umbrella to be leveling up. The studio, which also houses the Product Development Services Group and purportedly an entirely new unit rumored to be working on an original Uncharted title in collaboration with Naughty Dog, has fresh digs and a revised logo. And their logo looks pretty cool, looks definitely more modern. Says according to employee Alex Gambos, hopefully I'm pronouncing his last name right, the new office includes an open-air break room, upgraded meeting rooms, and a cold brew. It's not the first PlayStation developer to expand, as Sony Santa Monica, Sony Bend, and Guerrilla Games have all moved into new buildings recently as well. It all aligns with comments made by President Jim Ryan that PlayStation is continuing to invest into first party. So the reason why this is important to pay attention to is because something with Sony San Diego is happening. Not just Sony San Diego, but as we see here, PlayStation and Sony in general is really investing a lot of money into their studios, into their expansion, and it's not cheap to do that. So it's a big investment on their part, but it seems like it's because they understand that if you want to have the biggest and the best games in the world, you need to be able to provide, for these teams, give them bigger space, make it so that they can hire more employees, make it so that the work environment is more comfortable, and it's just an environment where things can get done. But I'm sure most of you are interested in that secret game, and it does seem that all of the rumors we've been hearing, and I don't know how credible they are, if I'm being honest. I really don't. But it's a rumor that seems to have been persisting. We just haven't gotten an update on it or haven't heard anything about it in a while, other than the fact that, they have a new office and logo, that Sony San Diego is going to be the team that continues the Uncharted series in collaboration with Naughty Dog. There's a lot of people who maybe don't want that. There's a lot of people who think that maybe Uncharted needs to take a rest. But if I'm being honest, I don't think that's going to be the case. I really don't think that's going to happen simply because Uncharted is too strong of a brand for Sony to just say, yeah, we're not going to make another Uncharted game for the next 5 to 7 years. We're just going to take a break. They're not going to do that. That's just the reality of it. It wouldn't be very smart for them because the Uncharted series is one of the best-selling series on PlayStation, and it's also just a well-known and recognized brand. There's no telling how involved Naughty Dog will be, but if I think that they're probably going to oversee the project. Now there is a chance though that it might not be a continuation of the Uncharted series. It might not be. We don't know. Whatever's going on is still in the early days, and it will be in preparation for the PlayStation 5. It could be a new IP. We know Sony certainly likes to greenlight new IPs that they believe in, and we know that Sony San Diego, they've been working on the MLB series, and they're going to continue to do that. It seems like we have a situation here similar to what Microsoft is trying to achieve with Playground Games, where, for those who don't know, Playground Games is the team behind the Forza Horizon series, which is clearly going to continue into the future, but they now have two separate teams, and they've expanded by a lot. They have a whole second studio now, a whole second team. So one team's going to focus on Forza Horizon, and the other team is now focusing on a big, apparently open world RPG game, which is rumored to be Fable. Seems like Sony's trying to take that same approach with some of their studios, with Guerrilla Games as well as Sony San Diego, by making it so that one team is working on the known franchise and the known property, while the other team is maybe working on something new. Although with Guerrilla Games, we have speculated that there's a good chance they're working on both a Killzone and a Horizon Zero Dawn 2. I feel like Sony wouldn't want to rest Killzone because it's already kind of been resting for a while now. Since 2013. So I think the start of the PlayStation 5 generation would be a good time for Sony to want to bring that back. Or maybe they're going to let Guerrilla do another new IP, considering what they've done with Horizon Zero Dawn. But focusing on Sony San Diego, I think it's exciting news. I think all signs are clearly pointing that they're not only going to be working on the MLB games, the show, but they're going to be working on something new. And so I really want to hear what you guys have to say. Do you think that this is going to be this secret game? Is this the continuation of the Uncharted series? And if so, does that make you happy? Does that make you nervous? I could totally understand why, if this team is tasked with continuing the Uncharted series or doing some type of spin-off or anything within that universe, why people would be very nervous, because they're kind of unproven in this area, and we're coming off of Naughty Dog with Uncharted 4, and we saw how good of a job they did. So I could totally see that, but at the same time, I think it's nice because it means that once The Last of Us Part 2 is finished, if Naughty Dog wants to, they can just kind of move on to work on something completely new. And I think if there's any team out there that people would love to see a new IP from at this point, it's Naughty Dog. As much as we are excited for The Last of Us Part 2, and I'm sure they'll maybe continue doing something in The Last of Us universe in the distant future, I don't think there's any doubt that people would be extremely enthusiastic with the idea of Naughty Dog developing a new IP. So, I don't know. For me personally, I believe this rumor. I think that Sony San Diego is clearly expanding, bringing on talent, and collaborating with Naughty Dog on another Uncharted game, because, again, I just don't see Sony forcing Naughty Dog if they don't want to. Like, I'm sure Naughty Dog kind of wants to take a break from Uncharted, but at the same time, I don't see Sony being like, well, we're just not going to do anything with it because it's a moneymaker for them, and that's just the truth of the matter. It's one of their most popular brands. It wouldn't make any sense for them to not do anything. So I believe this rumor. But moving on from that, one last thing I do want to talk about in this video is another rumor that has to do with a wireless PS5 PSVR headset that will have eye tracking and apparently cost $250. Says a patent from Sony has leaked online regarding PlayStation's next-gen console and a potential new iteration of the PSVR headset. It allegedly goes into detail about some of the ways that the supposed next version will function, including it being cable-free and possibly having eye tracking. Inverse previously reported on several patents which were filed by Sony that stated that the alleged new headset will be wireless this time around, so players won't need to worry about that pesky cord getting in the way while playing, have a battery life of around 5 hours, cost $250, and support eye tracking technology. Some of the specs for the headset state that the screen will have 2560 by 1440 resolution, a 120 Hz refresh rate, and a 220 degree field of view as well. The latest patent, which was published on July 11, 2019, stated that the PlayStation 5's alleged VR headset will be able to detect the angle of a user's head using various sensors built right into the headset. Another new feature detailed in the patent is foveated rendering. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that right. Essentially, this increases the fidelity of the graphics a player is looking directly at while drastically lowering the resolution of what they are not looking at using eye tracking. This could allow the headset to run at a more consistent frame rate, providing a more enjoyable experience to the user when playing for both short sessions and extended periods of time. It's worth noting that we previously covered some information released by Mark Cerny, the PlayStation 4's architect. He said that PlayStation fans wouldn't need to worry about spending more money on a new PSVR headset once the PS5 arrives, since the current model will be compatible with Sony's next-gen console. Also, keep in mind that just because something receives a patent does not mean it will necessarily see the light of day. So I really thought it was important to mention this because I don't talk about VR much on this channel, and a lot of you have told me, MBG, you need to invest in VR, you need to get a PSVR headset, and I don't know, I'm kind of on the fence with that. Honestly, I'm thinking about doing one of two things. I'm either going to wait for the PS5 and then get a PSVR headset, because I'm sure we'll see some type of upgrade, hopefully, with the new hardware. Plus, it'll be pretty cheap. But I'm really leaning towards waiting for this next model. Now, something we do know is that this next model, the PSVR2, is not going to release alongside the PS5 because Sony has stated that they feel like that would confuse the consumer potentially, and just it could create a disaster launch where you have two expensive products launching at one time. And if you also think about the technology that they're going to be trying to utilize within this headset, it's clear that a lot of this stuff, if they want to actually sell it at an affordable price like $250, which would be crazy, that'd be really great actually. It's going to take some time. It's going to take some time for, a lot of technology that they want to implement into this headset for that price to come down and for it to be more affordable so that they can actually sell it at that price. But either way, it's pretty exciting. I'm actually, I haven't shown much interest in VR, but if I'm being honest, I'm going to be really interested in a wireless headset, honestly. The thing about the first version of PSVR is it seems like for as awesome as it is, there's just a lot, it's kind of cumbersome. That's what I've been hearing from a lot of people. A lot of people have said that the experience is definitely worth it, but to see a major improvement going into next generation, I could see maybe like 2022 being the year. That's something I am going to be excited for, and it's also going to be interesting to see how much more heavily Sony decides to invest in first-party content released for the PSVR. I think they've actually done a really good job in supporting, at least just based off of what I see. Maybe anybody who owns a PSVR headset, you can let me know in the comments below if you agree with this, but from where I'm sitting, from what I've seen, it looks like Sony has been doing actually a really good job at supporting PSVR. I think a lot of people were expecting them because it, didn't sell as many units as the PS4, which that's just a totally unrealistic expectation. I think they are the market leader currently. I think people were just expecting them to kind of give up on it and it to just kind of wane and just fade away, but that's not what's happening. And, it's going to be interesting to me to see, how they continue to support it and what this next version of the headset's going to look like. So that's going to do it for the video, guys. I didn't want to make it too long, but I wanted to take some time because some of you were asking me to talk about Sony San Diego. They're moving to a new location. They're expanding, and it is rumored that they are also working on some type of secret game. That secret game is also rumored to be a continuation of Uncharted. So let me know your thoughts about that. Let me know your thoughts about this rumored new PSVR2 headset. I will be very interested to see what you guys have to say. Leave the video a like if you enjoyed it. Appreciate all the support you guys have been showing me. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.